back to the Dr. Balmer channel. Today I want to look at this fan. It's a nice green fan. It has been with me for quite a few years. It has a DC plug input and a USB type A plug for power connecting. And it's a good fan. It has served me well, but lately it has developed an annoying thing. So if I just connect it to this power bank. Well, first of all, this lead is a bit worn out, maybe, because it stops spinning sometimes. So basically, yeah, I will let it run for a while, and the problem is that it develops a rattling sound, which is indicative of issues with the bearing in the hub. So I'm using this fan quite a lot, which is probably why it has started failing. Yeah, it's kind of sad that it's failing, because I use it a lot and I would like to continue to use it. So I'm thinking that would it be possible to fix it in some way? And more precisely, I'm actually thinking, what if we could replace, because I don't think I can replace the bearing inside of this one, just the bearing itself. But maybe we could replace the fan itself with a standard computer PC chassis fan. What would that look like? So I don't know how well this will pick up on camera, but or a microphone. But there's some rattling sound. And when it's running, it's drawing about 2.5 watts. And maybe in a later video I will show you what I'm using it so much for. It obviously has to do with airflow and directing it towards something that benefits from airflow. Yeah, when I leave it on, it starts to rattle and it becomes more and more annoying, and I can't sit and work or do something in the same room after a while. So I'm thinking, what if we would change it, the fan completely, to one of these or one of these, for instance. Now these are obviously 12-volt fans, and I believe this one is 80 millimeters, maybe, or 60, I don't know, 80 maybe, and this is 92. It doesn't spin very well, but okay. I mean, would it fit inside somehow? Maybe. But if not, we have the smaller version. Yeah. So what's the plan then? Well, I'm thinking that instead of getting 5 volts out of this, so the watt meter here I have showed 2.5 watts. That should be about 500 milliamps drawn from the USB. But what if, I mean, for instance, this gigabyte fan, it says 120 milliamps on 12 volts. So what would that translate to? I mean, if we have if we draw power at 5 volts and transform it to 12 volts, what would that transform into? So I'll attempt a calculation of this. So 12 volts divided by 5 volts. So 12 is 2.4 times 5. And so we multiply 2.4 by the rating here of 120 milliamps. So times 0.12. In that case it would be 300 milliamps drawn from the source, the 5 volt source, plus some losses of course in the conversion process or something like that. So maybe we end up at 500. If we have a look at this little fan, the 80 millimeter one, it's 12 volts and 240. So what would that be in the same way? So 2.4 times 0.24, 576 milliamps. So yeah, the thing is that I have a USB lead that looks like this, and it says 12 on it, and inside this little end piece box is a boost converter from 5 volts to 12 volts. So I'm not sure the rating of it, how many milliamps it can put out, but if it can handle half an amp, it should be fine. And luckily also I'm thinking of reusing this male connector here, or is it female connector? I don't know. It has a plug, but it's, yeah, I don't know, the DC connector on the fan itself, and it fits there pretty nicely. So if we can reuse this case, and it has a button for on and off, and if we can remove the innards here and attach this lead instead, we'll get 12 volts, and then perhaps we can perhaps just remove the connector on the fan and solder it. It depends on what it looks like inside of this one. So yeah, that's the plan, and just fasten it in some way maybe by cable ties or something, through these holes and around these wires here for the grill. So it won't be a pretty repair, but these kind of repairs are the funniest ones to make, of course. So yeah, I want to start by opening this up a bit, and let's see if my little, oh yeah, I need a little space here to gather all the screws on my magnetic bowl. I'm using, by the way, this Xiaomi, if it's pronounced that way, electric screwdriver, which I like quite a bit actually. But this is not the target for today's video. So okay, it came off. There's a bit of dust in there, which we'll clean up. Yeah. But let's put that aside for now. So what have we got in here? Well, we have some nice steel blades and 3 screws holding them in. And then we also have 3 screws on the back, so I don't know. And then this one moves a bit. I suppose it won't help to remove these ones. It won't reveal anything. I believe I have to unscrew these 3 screws. So let's do that. These screws have seen better days. They seem a bit rusty. I don't know why. It hasn't been very humid as far as I know, but of course they are a few years old, so they might have seen some humidity. Yeah, and now we can see the innards here. So basically, well, actually, I don't know, would it be possible to replace just the inside of this hub, maybe? The actual sleeve bearing. Yeah, but I don't know how I would be able to access it. It doesn't really allow for sort of clean access. So I'm thinking I would cut these wires, and if we can put a fan inside here, that would be pretty cool. Yeah. So oh, we have some solder blobs here. And stuff. So because this one is obviously not in a very good shape anymore. Yeah, so allow me to cut this I just have to find my cutters. One moment, please. So, I was looking for my cheap blue Chinese cutters, but I couldn't find them. I must have misplaced them. And I found these Knipex instead. And they should work fine. So yeah, I'm gonna cut these off maybe. They don't need to be too long, but yeah, might as well cut them there. So yeah. Okay, let's put this aside as well. So yeah, here we go. Let's see how something like this would fit. So I'm thinking that because I don't want the cables to get in the way, how to avoid that from happening. If it's gonna sit all the way inside like this, there's a risk that the cables get in the way of the fan. And the smaller one or the larger one. Ooh. So the larger one doesn't really fit inside. How about, I mean, if we would, I could of course just file it down a bit, I suppose, because it's only by a little bit that it doesn't fit. Which is a shame, because yeah, that would be nice. But maybe then placing a fan like this up against the front instead. Something like this, and then fasten it with the zip ties or something around the loopholes, and then route the leads. Yeah, one could fasten them on the side somewhere. So when you close it, you will have space behind the fan. So maybe that could work. I want to try this fan out, of course. So what I'm gonna do is to make sure that this works at all, and stuff like that, I want to strip a little bit of these wires. I might zoom in a bit, and there was a solder blob. Shall throw it away. I don't have my wire strippers anywhere near. But I might manage with these side cutters as well, if I'm careful. I suppose the red one is the positive, yeah, the positive one. I will assume that for now. So something like that. And now just to try it out, I mean, if we would connect, let's see here. This is not the one. This 5 volt to 12 volt converting USB lead. So we might first sorry, wrong way. Use a multimeter. Just to check the actual voltage that I get out of that lead. Oh, the power bank turned off since we have no load applied. Okay, nothing. Maybe it's off. Yeah, it was off here, so I will turn the switch on. At least to know the switch might be working. Oh yeah, 11.93 volts. Okay. So the USB lead, at least in an open circuit scenario, is delivering almost 12 volts. So yeah, can I connect the wires to this one and see if this fan will spin or not with this USB lead connected? So let's see here. Blue wire would be the sensing pin. The red would be plus 12 volts and the black one should be ground. So if we insert, or try to insert, the red wire in the middle, so I'm trying to, I don't know if it will stick there, but I wish I had the male connector for the 3-pin fan, and then the black one to the blue one. So in this case the blue one should go to the black one. So yeah, something like that. And if I yeah, the fan did spin up. It was maybe a bit hard to if I hold it there. Then yeah, the fan is spinning, but it seems to me that it vibrates a bit as well. And I wonder what kind of wattage we have. So if I connect it to the USB charger instead. Okay, so the USB charger doesn't like it. Yeah, but okay, so the fan spins, but it's a bit noisy as well. So, okay, let's try the other fan, the Gigabyte fan. And I will do the same thing there. So, if I can manage to get this in there. Yeah, I should perhaps put some solder on these wires so they are not so flimsy like they are now. But okay. Yeah, the fan spins, but barely. It doesn't really provide much in terms of airflow. Okay, so maybe oh, I lost some light. Batteries ran out in the light. Yeah, so, and I can feel that this fan barely moves, so maybe that's also a bad fan. This would work, but it's not extremely quiet as well. But on the other hand, hang on a minute. So I do actually have a similar cable, but it's labeled 9 volts instead of 12. So what if I would use that one? Instead. On this little fan, would it become less noisy and still provide sufficient amount of airflow? So let's try that out. I got it spinning, but for a little while. Yeah, it's spinning. And it's a lot less noisy, but it still provides good airflow. On a hard surface you can hear it. It's not, I can feel that it's not perfectly balanced. But maybe it's good enough. So, yeah. Maybe I could get a better 80mm fan. And actually what I would like to do to be able to swap them out easily in the future is to mount the opposite connector of this one to one of these, or I mean to these leads, solder them on so that I have a connector here, and then I can swap fans easily as I please. Yeah, but I have to find somewhere to scavenge the male connector of these. So let me do that first. But this is the main idea, and I will now go and search for something that I can scavenge for the opposite fan connector, and then I will be back. So until then, at least you have the basic idea. It should be pretty clear what I want to do. And maybe I can find a better fan as well, because this one felt a bit yeah, maybe it's nearing end of life as well. So until next time, for you it will be a short time, and I will have to go and do some searching and scavenging. So one moment. Alright, so it's a new day, and I have found some new lighting. Let's see how long it lasts. But I also found this little bugger. So yeah, it's a 2-pin out of 3 fan header. And it should work nicely for our purposes here. So my idea is to, first of all, well, maybe I want to have the connector on the outside, and that is because I have an idea. For controlling this fan, its speed or voltage, and I think it will be easier to handle the connector on the back. So my plan is to route, let's see, where do I want it? Maybe somewhere, making it stick out here, and maybe I can route the cables one time like this through the holes here, protrusions, and then go back in over here. It will keep this one pretty much in place. So let me just adjust this, yeah. I think. And yeah, and then I can solder these cables here inside. And then maybe just put some hot glue or something to keep them attached to the back, so they don't go into the fan. Something like that. And then the fan connector itself. So if I have the fan here, only I will place it maybe on the front, attached to the front grill maybe. Then this connector from the fan could, it actually does fit through here, and I could connect it here. So my plan is to easily be able to add or remove sort of a intermediary device, which will allow me to control the voltage to the fan. Or I can remove it if I don't want that extra piece of hardware there. So I don't have to open this one to remove or add the plug for that one. So we'll start like this, and yeah, this one would go here, and yeah. So let's just go for it, so to speak. I have my let's zoom out a bit. I have my USB powered soldering iron. It should be plenty fine for this application. It's a nice soldering iron. They're available at Amazon, AliExpress, etc. Pretty cheap, so if you don't have one and you like soldering, and especially the small tip for small joints, then solder joints, then it's a very good investment. I have some thin soldering tin, leaded, and I also found my cheap side cutters, but I have both now, so okay, that's good. Yeah. So I will let's see here, maybe I can zoom in a bit. Maybe a bit too much. So if I can, I mean, if I don't pre-tin them, then it will be easier to wrap them around each other, maybe. But I will need some let's see here, some heat shrink tubing. So I shall start by choosing an appropriately sized, if I have one. It should be very thin. So I have some different dimensions here. This was a kit from Lidl, I believe. I can see some pre-cut piece here. So yeah, this one, if I zoom back a bit, in a bit, so I would do something like this, and then if I can wrap. Yeah, that's not too easy. Maybe I should just pre-tin them and well, maybe yeah, I can solder them like this, and then I will put the heat shrink on top and heat it up, and it should secure the joint from any short circuiting. So why don't we start with that joint there, and I will connect my oh wait a minute, I have forgotten about one thing. I need my my sponge, which I shall go and wet now. Okay, so this is nice and wet, and I shall then connect this soldering iron. It's turned on, so it should get hot relatively quickly. I have a fan running to disperse the fumes. There won't be a lot of fumes, I suspect, for the few soldering joints here. So yeah, the iron is hot, so let's try this. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, this joint won't go anywhere, and then I will just slide this one over here, and I will heat it gently with the side of the iron. And it shrinks. So something like that. Yeah, it's on there. So perfect. Or yeah, perfect. Maybe it's an overstatement, but it seems to be on there. Now the 12-volt cable then. So how should I? Should go beneath this one? Maybe, yeah. Let's see if I can get this one wrapped around. Oh, wait a minute. I hate the fact that one does forget about putting the heat shrink tubing on before. wrapping things, closing circuits. So let me cut this in half or something. Let's see here, will this smaller piece be enough? Yeah, it should be. Okay. So let's thread this one on. And then I shall try to do some wrapping around here. Okay, this was a bit harder in the first wire. For some reason. Okay, maybe I just pre-tin them then and then connect them, and so I could make them a bit, this one a bit shorter. I will cut it a bit. That case, something like that. Okay, heating up the iron. See if it's ready. Yep. So pre-tinning them. Connection. Okay, something like that. Now they're shiny and nice, and let's see if I can just let's see here. Can I somehow make them at least stay here? Okay, maybe I'll have to hold it. So I will add a bit of solder blob here. This, and then yeah, now let's inspect that. Okay, a bit off, but I can live with that. Maybe I can just get it a bit nicer over here. So yeah. Okay, and now we just slide this one on here and shrink it. yeah, this is well and truly in place. And I'm thinking that I mean, I can route the cables, the wires here, just below this little rim of on the back here of the wires. And if I put some melt glue, there, then they should stay in place nicely, I think. And then a bit of glue here, maybe. But so yeah, so great. I shall bring in the glue gun and stuff. So yeah. Okay, so I have connected my little glue gun, and yeah, the problem is it's so light, it barely stays. So I can't really, yeah. A wireless one would have been nice to have, actually. Nevertheless, this is what I've got right now. So let's go for that. And so yeah, let's see if it's not yet, but I'll wait a minute. Okay, so now there's some action going on there. I have a droplet, so I shall attempt to glue this. Okay, now we got some plastic spider webby thing going on, which is what happens. Yeah, maybe I can just fasten this wire here as well with a small drop of glue, like that. Just to keep the wires where or away from where I want them. So okay, and then on the back side here, maybe I can manage to put some glue in here. I don't know how well this will stick over time, but we might as well do it while we're at it. Yeah. Okay. So let me disconnect the hot glue gun. And this is the result. Okay. fair enough. And so what's next then? Let's zoom out a bit. Well, so this fan, yeah, like I said before, I believe it's nearing end of life because I can feel that it is vibrating here in the hub, and I will order some 80mm fan maybe, or a couple, and different types maybe, and see which one is the best for this purpose. Maybe a 92mm fan would work, but on the other hand, I think the airflow was sufficient from the 80mm one as well, so might as well go with that one. So yeah, what I want to do now is to blow away the dust on the inside here. So at first I had an idea with regard to noise dampening. So because I believe that there might be some vibrational transfer between the fan and this rigid metal structure, especially since this fan is a bit on the end of life side of things, it seems. And oh, there's more plastic from the glue gun. So at first I thought I could use these rubbery fan mounting Noctua things to somehow fasten the fans, but they wouldn't. I mean, they wouldn't stick there basically, because the spacing here is too large and it won't stay in place unless I get it on this side, but the holes don't align with the inside of this rim here. So I don't think that would be possible. So instead, I believe I have to resort to cable ties, or yeah, and at least I found some green ones, but they won't help with the vibration. So maybe I thought that what if I bring in the glue gun again and I place around the holes here on each corner some hot glue, and the hot glue should maybe dampen the vibrational transfer a little bit at least. So I will connect my glue gun once again, and I have removed the dust from here. So yeah, let's do that first and then see if that works. So I think that this one is ready. I'm getting some glue out, and I have found one spare glue stick. I believe I have to order more soon. Let's place it there. So yeah, I'll just try to go around the actual holes in the corners. And just hopefully that will allow for a bit of vibration damping. wherever it touches the casing of the fan grill. Maybe a bit more on the sides here, if it touches there. So can also put some on the cables there. Yeah, so something like that, maybe. And disconnect the hot glue gun. So yeah, it's cooling off, and at least we have some sort of cushioning. I mean, it's not soft, but it's not hard like the fan casing in terms of plastic hardness. So okay, and let's see here. This will align this way with the hole there and the hole there, and the two holes down here. So if I want the cable to go out this way on the right here and back to this one in a loop, so maybe I should adjust it, align it this way, something like this, and getting the hub to align with the center of that hub. So yeah, let's try the... It actually feels softer a bit. There's no noise when I put them together, so that's good. Let's try to do a one-hand install of the zip tie. Like that. And then let's do one on the diagonally opposite side. Maybe going through... Oh, that one flew away. And I want to get it under this inner rim, so I can fasten it around this inner ring here. I will need something to... I can use this one maybe. Yeah. And then pick it up here. Like that. Okay, let's leave it like that. All right. So two more. I mean, it's it won't go anywhere already, but we might as well do it on all four sides. And then the last one. Oops, I did overdo that a bit. Now that's one heck of a fan. Great. So yeah, let's cut these pieces off. And yeah, there's plenty of room between the cables on the back, so they shouldn't end up in there even if they would turn loose here. So what I'm going to do is route this fan connector through the shell here. Or so I thought. It did fit previously, so yeah, okay. Something like that. And it will connect here. Right. So let me just fasten one screw here. It's one of these ones. So temporarily, just one screw, so it stays in place, and then I will connect it there. All right, I believe we are ready for a first test drive, and I will use this 9-volt version of the cable. Let's connect that one there, and this one to the power bank. And yeah, actually I would like to have my USB tester. Let's see if I can find it. So I seem to have misplaced my USB tester, unfortunately. It's somewhere around here, but I can't seem to find it. So okay. Yeah. So I turn the power bank on, and I turn this one on. And yeah, it works. I can feel some vibration. You can hear perhaps the noise. So, but it's quiet. It vibrates a lot less than the original fan did lately. At least. So that's a good start. So unfortunately I don't see how much current, what wattage we have, but yeah, it works. So let me just fasten a bit of thin paper, a strip of thin paper. Yeah, good airflow, and it's quiet for now, even though the fan, I can feel some vibration, but I think that the glue gun stuff actually dampens some of that. So how awesome. Now that's a real fun project actually. If you have one of those fans, I mean, they are readily available in many places for cheap. So if you want a project, and yeah, why not? So I'm going to, yeah, let me just put all the other screws in here on the front side of things. This one. Great. Have a look at that. It's a beauty of rarely seen kind. Of course, yeah, this glue didn't stay on there for very long, but that's okay. At least the glue helps it add some thickness here. So okay, so my idea then is to, for all of those of you who were around some years ago when Zalman was a hot player on the market of cooling, and they still have products, but you know, it's different times nowadays, and they aren't the de facto standard cooling company anymore, maybe, but they had some nice products for those of you who were around. I believe Zalman was a Croatian company, or they still exist, so yeah. And they have a Zalman FanMate 2, it says there, actually, I believe. Yep. And input 12 volts, output 5 to 11 volts, made in Korea, so at least drop 1 volt anyway from 12. So it has a potentiometer here, and there is a little aluminium heatsink. So it would connect in between here. Let me just zoom down a bit. So it would get power via this one, and then it will go inside of this one through the potentiometer that adjusts the resistance and thereby the voltage, and then sends a new voltage, a stepped down version, back to the fan. So how will this work? So now it's all the way, it says up here, so let's put it there. Yeah, I believe this should be right. And then turn it on. Yeah, it does spin. And it does work. How can I don't have a way to... I don't have a tachometer, unfortunately, to be able to see the RPMs, but now it's at its lowest setting, and now I'm increasing it to its highest. So maybe you can hear the fan noise. As I increase, I get more. Yeah, it actually works. Maybe the paper trick. So this is maximum, and then I go to minimum. Yeah, not a huge difference, but on the paper... Oh yeah, you can see. The paper is clearly not falling off. Now I go to minimum and back to maximum. Yeah, maybe it's not too visible, but it does work. So yeah, now I have sort of a modular thing here. I can choose to use it, or I can simply disconnect it in between here, and I don't have to have it if I only want 12 volts. And this kind of capability wasn't available even on the original version. I couldn't adjust the speed, not even... I mean, this is more or less an analog way of controlling it steplessly, but this old one wasn't controllable at all. So yeah, I'm very pleased. I mean, it's a nice project. Pretty simple. Just open it up, remove the innards, buy an 80mm fan or a 92mm if you cut the corners a bit, I suppose, or file them down. They should fit inside. And yeah, some hot glue will definitely help if you want to stick some cables into place. Get a fan header, route the fan cables around the holes on the back, get some heat shrink tubing, place it on the cables, solder two cables together, join them with some solder, melt the or heat the heat shrink so it shrinks, and yeah, screw it back together. Use some zip ties and some hot glue on the ends to absorb some vibration. It seems to work really well, actually. There's pretty much no vibrational noise, even though this fan is vibrating a little bit in the hub, I can feel. And if I get a new fan, I can simply, I open these 3 screws, disconnect the fan cable, and put inside a new fan and replace the zip ties. And you get a switch, and you get, if you have a fan mate or some other fan controller for 3-pin fans. You could of course get one for PWM if you have a 4-pin fan. Of course, but yeah. So, I mean, this appendix is adds like a bit of cable and bulk to it, but you can remove it and have it on 12 volts. And if you buy like a quiet fan, I would say a Noctua fan, but that would be pretty expensive, of course, for a fan like this. But it would probably make a good fan for you, for many purposes. So yeah, maybe it's not the most efficient one in terms of, I mean, yeah, you also need some sort of, but actually, I should be, if this was 5 volts, I should be able to use the 5 volt if I want the slowest speed. If I'm happy with that, let me just try that. Oh. So I disconnect the Zalman FanMate, and where do I have the original USB cable with no voltage mod? There we go. It's a bit broken inside somewhere here in the connector, because when I spun it around here, it did or did not get a connection previously. So yeah, let me then connect the fan again, and this time around, let me just connect it to my watt meter, and I have a proper USB charger, and I turn it on. Oh yeah, it stopped. Now it's spinning. So the watt meter says 0.0 watts. That's strange. Okay. But yeah, I do have some airflow. It's not much, but it is 5 volts on a 12 volt fan, so it is what it is in that case. So yeah, but that's pretty low airflow from 5 volts, but it does work. If you want just a small breeze, for instance, then yeah, why not? But I think I will use it with a 12 volt. And actually, since it's a DC input, you can get a 12 volt adapter. You could scavenge one from a old router or switch or whatever, or get a universal adapter. But actually, let's see if I can find one. That should with a fitting plug. One moment. So let's see here. I have an old Netgear switch, WNR 1000, for instance, but they're pretty much all the same. Switches and routers of this kind, they have, let's see here, yeah, there we can see, if I just focus, 12 volts, 1 amp. 1 amp is, should be plenty for this fan, because now we have no conversion either, other than in the adapter itself. And it should be able to supply 1 amp at 12 volts. And this fan was rated for 240 milliamps. So we're only using a quarter of its capacity. And yeah, it fits nicely. It should be center positive, so let's connect that one. I shall disconnect my power meter first, my watt meter, because it seemed to have hung up a bit. It showed 0 watts, and I will keep it turned off at first. Connect it. Oh yeah. Now, however, I can hear the fan a lot more. Maybe you can hear as well. I'm getting way more airflow as well, though. So it's, yeah. And the watt meter is showing. Let's see if I can. If I can get in shot. .9 watts. 1.9. Yeah, okay. So, is that correct? For instance, the fan said 12 volts times 0.24. 2.88 watts. It should be at max speed. So, okay, 1.9 watts, so 12 divided by 1.9, or sorry, 1.9 divided by 12, that's 160 milliamps. So that should be fine. Okay, so if I turn it off, and now I connect the Zalman FanMate 2. And I mean, routers like these you can get very cheaply. Old routers, you can be a 10 megabit one. But if you can get a newer one, then the adapter will probably also be newer. So any capacitors and stuff won't have aged a lot, I suppose. But getting a 12 volt 1 amp adapter should be possible to get very cheaply from any device like this. And then you just scavenge the power plug, and these things are meant to be run 24/7. So the adapter at a quarter of its specified amperage should theoretically be fine for a very, very long time, unless it's very old and has aged a lot. So, okay, now I have the FanMate. So I'm getting, what am I getting? 1.8 watts at maximum. So it's pretty much the same thing. And now I start to lower it slowly. Yeah, there was a dip in noise. 1.6, 1.7 watts. If I continue, 1.5 watts. Yeah, good airflow at 1.5 watts. And I suppose that yeah, was I using the 9 volt or the 12 volt lead? Oh, I was using the 9 volt one, maybe. When I tested, yeah, I was. So I wasn't using 12 volt lead. And I had this one connected. Okay, so maybe that's also a... where did I put the 12 volt one? Okay. Anyway, I don't know, but and I continue to decrease this one. Now the fan is pretty much quiet at 1.4 watts. I still have good airflow, as you can see. And at the minimum setting, I have 0.9 or 1 watt. Yeah, it's just a small breeze. It's not going to blow you away, so to speak. And at maximum 1.8, 1.9, and I have fan noise. Okay, that's great. I love it. This is now a fan with many options. You can go with the, I mean, because they have DC plug here, I can go with pretty much any standard power adapter plug from pretty much any device that takes 12 volts. Very cheaply replaceable. The fan is cheaply replaceable and easily replaceable. I have a standard fan connectors. I have a switch on the back for on and off, and I have the option to connect a device like the FanMate, or I can lose the power plug and go with an adapter, 9 volt adapter like this, and then I don't need the FanMate at all hanging there. So yeah, I'm very pleased so far with this project. Actually, it turned out better than I anticipated. And maybe you have any more ideas. If you have more ideas on what could be done with this, then leave a comment below, and maybe I will do a part 2 or something, if I have a nice idea, or if you supply a good idea that would be nice to try out. So basically, this is it for this video. And it's so useful now. And in an upcoming video I might show what I've been using it for. Cooling something, obviously, but what it is, and I will try to improve the cooling of said device. Yeah, I have nothing else to say than to thank you all for watching this video. And if you have watched it entirely, in its entirety, from the beginning to the end, you are a true Dr. Embalmer supporter, and for that you should have a big thank you. And for those of you who jump around in the video, that's perfectly fine as well. If you found anything useful here, or amusing, I mean, I find things like this to be the funniest things to do, because they're sort of doable. the effort is reasonable. The cost is also low or reasonable. And it's improving in some aspects, let me say. Some original design. Of course, this one had steel blades, and that was nice. But now it's better, in my opinion. And especially ever since the original one started vibrating and giving me clicking noises and driving me nuts. This will come in handy very nicely. So yeah, thank you everyone so much for watching and supporting this channel. Today is Saturday, so I wish you all a nice continuation of the weekend. Thank you so much. Bye bye.